All right, awesome. Welcome everyone. My name's Kim. I am the operations manager with the MRFA. This month, I would like to welcome Gordon Food Services. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will have a question and answer period at the end. So if you can hold any questions until then, or if you want to type it in the chat, I'll make notes and then we can get anything answered at the end. This webinar is recorded and we will put it on our website after, and it gets sent out in our newsletter. So thank you so much, Alex and Darren. I am super excited to have you guys here today. And with that, I will pass it on to you guys.
Thanks for having us. On behalf of the Prairies Division, myself and Darren Lexa and Kristen, we're all here to talk about food cost and some of the things that we can help you with. I'm Alex. I'm from the Edmonton Division. I'm the Business Solutions Specialist. I have Kristen here.
I'm the fruit vegetable dairy specialist for the Winnipeg Division.
And then Darren, I'll send it over to you. You can introduce yourself. He's in Calgary.
Hi there. Yeah, my name's Darren Lexa. I'm the culinary specialist for the Prairies. I'm Calgary based. Between Alex and myself and the rest of our marketing team that Kristen sits on, we take care of the Prairies region marketing support to our customers for Edmonton, Calgary, and Winnipeg. So even though Edmonton is Alex's home base and Calgary is where I operate out of, Alex and I both split supporting our customers in the Winnipeg market. So thank you for having us today. We're just going to get right into it. We've got some video clips that we're going to go through, kind of food cost 101 level conversations, things you should be looking for when you're purchasing ingredients from your supplier. Alex and Kristen are going to do a bit of a produce cutting here at about the 2/3 of the way through mark. And then Alex and I are going to summarize things at the end with a little bit of just a live demo, putting some of these best practices in place that we're going to show you here today. So Alex, over to you for the first point in our agenda.
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to talk about is waste and spoilage. So two high impact things that you can take control of in your business, and with just some simple procedures that you can apply to your everyday practices. So Darren, if you want to just start that video.
Just going to pause real quick and make sure we have video audio coming through. Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're delving into a crucial aspect of kitchen management that affects every chef, restaurateur, and culinary enthusiast: waste and spoilage. So let's just jump in. Waste and spoilage. It's the unavoidable reality in any kitchen. It happens due to factors like spoilage, preparation errors, or contamination. Picture a scenario where your ingredients, whether it's gone bad, rancid, moldy, or even due to burnt items, all become unusable. Food spoilage often raises its head due to poor inventory control. This can mean over-ordering or inadequate stock storage and rotation. So what's the solution? Properly documenting production dates and production identification is crucial. Historical data sales becomes your ally, helping you determine production par levels and aiding in effective inventory forecasting. To tackle these changes, we introduce a valuable companion, the Kitchen Prep Sheet. This tool facilitates management by guiding you through a maze of production levels and inventory control. It's your secret weapon for a well-organized kitchen. Now, let's talk about damages during preparation. Burnt or poorly cooked items. The solution: an updated kitchen standard recipe book. This should include accurate cooking times and temperatures. And here's a tip: empower your staff with the right tools. Personal thermometers and timers at their station also become trusted companions. The silent infiltrator: cross-contamination. it can come from various sources like chemical, physical, or biological contamination. And the key to prevention, proper storage and labeling. Adhere to food safety guidelines set by health authorities. Separate chemicals and store cooked food above raw items, and keep it away from vegetables and dairy. Oh, and don't forget to prioritize pest control. Now, let's talk numbers. In a restaurant, every food purchase contributes to costs, and what you serve brings in revenue. Even the wasted and spoiled food affects your bottom line. Enter the hero, the waste sheet. It records overproduction, spoilage, burnt, or returned items. It's your compass in the financial landscape. Failure to identify and address waste and spoilage accurately can inflate that dreaded food cost percentage. So let's make sure we're on top of that game. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of waste and spoilage management. May your kitchen be organized, your ingredients fresh, and your bottom line thriving.
Thanks, Timothy. He's our counterpart out in Vancouver. So just to summarize his stuff, with prep charts, PARs, and order guides, having those tools at your disposal to all your cooks and all the waste stations is a crucial way to keep up on your waste and spoilage, as well as waste bins at all the different locations so that you can keep your staff accountable for the waste. Our next video is going to be about physical inventory, and Darren's going to lead us into that.
Right on. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, so the next video is a quick clip on just some tips and best practices around managing your physical inventory in a kitchen or a food service establishment. And one thing I'll just make a quick note of here as well is, you know, Gordon Food Service customers in the Winnipeg or in the Manitoba market, they can reach out to myself and or Alex or any of our category specialists to get our contact information and to get in touch with us. We have, you know, collaborative consultative resources, templates, all kinds of things when it comes to managing your cost of goods sold in your food service operations. So don't fret if you think this is some of this stuff is overwhelming, you don't know where to start. We can help save you some time in sharing out some of these tools with you as well. So with that said, I'll jump right into the physical inventory video.
So in the world of restaurant inventory management, we deal with meticulous amounts of counting of all products and materials in your restaurant at a specific moment in time. But here's the catch, it's not just counting. It's, you know, a big mix of consistency followed by ordering, followed by usage. But if we follow a set schedule and a standardized procedure, we can eliminate any kind of risk. So let's talk about the math behind it. We're not just crunching numbers, we're calculating the total inventory by adding up the opening inventory, factoring purchases, and then subtracting the inventory on hand. Why? Because this magic equation helps us compute the food cost. But how do you master this inventory? Well, it's about implementing a series of steps. First up, you need to establish systems to track and record inventories. After that, you'll dive into the development of specifications and procedures for ordering and purchasing. You need to develop efficiencies right off the bat. Next is formulating standards and procedures for receiving deliveries. And once you have those all in line, you should have all the steps necessary to get a proper food cost. So if you actually know your physical inventory, you'll be able to plan and calculate an accurate food cost, have better control over waste and spoilage, control and make adjustments to the menu so as to not incur any unwanted costs with any oversupply. And lastly, you'll want to keep your recipe book and food costing sheets up to date with any product changes or costs.
Awesome. And kind of on that note, again, Gordon Food Service has some proprietary tools that are designed to help our customers and operators with managing their cost of goods. So we've got two proprietary systems through Gordon Food Service. One is called Gordon Culinary Pro. The other is called Gordon Restaurant Pro. And both are real-time tools to build out recipes so that any person operating a restaurant can see real-time what their prep or batch recipes are costing them to make. And same thing with a plated menu item. So you have a cheddar bacon burger on the menu. These platforms, once your recipes are written and populated into them, they will tell you exactly with updated invoice pricing today what it costs you to put that plated menu item on a plate to sell to your customer for whatever, $17, $18, $19. That way you can keep abreast of, you know, what we all have seen be the inflationary ingredient world of the last year and a half to 2 years. And in a lot of instances, when we work with customers, we see people surprised that the cost of a plate of things going out to a customer have increased more than what might be in someone's mind if they don't have real-time visibility to that sort of culinary math. And in many instances, what Alex and I are finding is that people who should be making menu price adjustments haven't done that. And we're kind of doing all this work that we all do in our operating restaurants, working, you know, whatever, 60 to 100 plus hours a week, and not making the kind of money that food service operators should be, you know, seeing in their businesses, simply because we don't have the right tools in place to easily show us the cost of doing business, not just in food, but in liquor, wine, beer as well. And then the other thing that we have is the whole inventory conversation. Both of these tools, Culinary Pro has an add-on for it now, and Restaurant Pro has it built in, where there's inventory management as well. And gone are the days where the chef or the GM or that team of people have to sit there and update inventory count sheet ingredient costs because they import and update these prices on all the things you're ordering automatically as well. So we've got some tools designed to give you real-time visibility to valuable information, as well as save chefs and GMs time in their restaurant operations. And with that, we'll go back to Alex to talk about improper storage and security.
So being that the theme today is food cost, there is a lot of repetition and crossover with everything. And we're going to be talking about improper storage and then security, so things walking out your door. But yeah, please watch the video.
Hello everyone. Today we're diving into a crucial aspect of business management: improper storage and security. Let's uncover key strategies to reduce employee theft, maintain secure storage, and creating a great work environment to prevent any theft. So let's get started. First and foremost, let's tackle the issue of reducing employee theft from your cash register, from your inventory, and different parts of the business. We need to be vigilant and identify where thefts could be happening. Look out for signs such as short ringing, too many comps, void outs after close, reusable receipts, and register skimming. These are common culprits that we'll address head on. Now let's talk about the importance of having separate, secure storage. Whether it's alcohol, high-priced items, confectionery, or supplies, equipment, a dedicated storage area is our first line of defense against potential losses. You have to keep all your expensive items locked up or secured away as to prevent any outside theft. Maintaining and keeping records. It's a vital part of our strategy to prevent theft. Practical steps such as reviewing sales reports daily, conducting regular inventory checks, promptly addressing discrepancies, maintaining waste logs, logging employee meals, and ensuring that our anti-theft processes are all there to prevent any unnecessary theft. Now let's shift gears to creating a fulfilling work environment where we create an environment where people don't want to steal from your restaurant or business. It's not just a goal, it's a necessity for long-term success. Key elements such as fair wages, benefits, open, honest dialogue, clear and concise procedures, staff meals, transparency, authenticity, appreciation, promoting ownership, and building a strong team are all important in creating that proper culture in your work environment. The importance of following up on any concerns and taking feedback can help your staff create more ownership in the business. Community involvement is the key to any successful restaurant. Effective management of storage and security is a comprehensive approach. It involves reducing theft, maintaining secure storage, and fostering a workplace that not only sustains but thrives. Thank you for being part of today's discussion. Here's to a fulfilling and secure work environment.
Awesome. So we've just covered a lot of details already. We're going to get into a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of some more quick applications for your portioning and food cost. So I'm going to send it back to Darren to play a video on scales, portion bags, and portioning.
Hey, here we go.
Hello. Bring your utensils.
Hi there, my name's Darren Lex. I'm the culinary specialist for the Prairies based out of Calgary. Just going to do a quick little conversation here around some portioning tools that we have available to us through Gordon Food Service and through Gordon Ordering and through your DSR sales rep. We've got two different types of digital scale, and it's important that we look at the proper scale for the proper job. So generally speaking, we have smaller scales that weigh out in lower weight increments. Important in terms of accuracy for things like baking, where it's very much like chemistry and accuracy is important. So using a gram scale for those portioning techniques that call for that kind of accuracy. And then for bigger things like inventory or weighing heavier cases, we have a kilogram or a pound scale. So this particular scale goes up to 30 pounds. This particular scale weighs up to 11 pounds, but in 1 gram increments, whereas this one will only go to 5 gram accuracy. In terms of items that we can use to portion into, there's a number of things available. We have portion bags. These are just a generic portion bag that we can portion shredded cheese and things like that into. That can easily be trayed up onto a baking sheet and then stocked to the line for use out of the bag directly into whatever component a cook on the line may be cooking. And then we have deli cups, or portion cups as you may know them. So we have 3 different sizes. We have an 8 fluid ounce cup in the small. We've got a medium at 16 fluid ounces, also a pint. And then we also have the 1 quart cup, which is actually 32 fluid ounces. So common measurements there for deli cup sizes that we can either portion into or use as a vessel. For example, as a pizza operator, you might have an entire full hotel pan here of shredded cheese and set up this scale and cup right next to that shredded cheese ingredient so that every time you go to build a pizza, you're reaching in and scaling off very quickly into the cup and then building the pizza from that.
Super practical uses for those portioning, the deli cups used in so many parts on your line. something everybody should have in their kitchen. Darren's going to talk about some more portioning controls. Go ahead, Darren.
Awesome. Yeah, just on that note, like one thing that Alex and I see quite often when we go into kitchens is they just don't have the right tools available to the cooks in the kitchen to be able to actually control portion size. They don't have enough of the right size ladles, which we'll get into here more in a few videos. But scales are one thing we see lacking all the time, or the proper scale to do the job. So scales that have the ability to actually weigh the amount that your recipes are written in. So those gram scales that weigh to 1 gram increments, they're important and they're not that expensive. Like we have all kinds available for under $100. It doesn't have to be, well, I can't afford to buy a $500 digital scale to get the accuracy in portioning. The scales that were just in that video, I think the big inventory scale is just under $300, and you only need 1 or 2 of those in the kitchen. And those portioning gram scales are under $100. So there's some economical solutions available there. And on that note, we're going to talk about some more, portioning tools that should be in common practice use in kitchens, and some best practice applications of using these tools as well. So we've got a video here on using measuring spoons and measuring cups. All right, so probably one of the most often used, or should be most often used, tools in your kitchen would be a set of measuring spoons. Only thing to consider here is it's really important that you're leveling each measuring spoon off, regardless of the unit that you're using, to ensure that you're putting the correct amount of product into a recipe. So that would be for volume measure, using measuring spoons. Other methods that you could use for volume measure would be ladles that are always in fluid ounce, and that amount is always shown on the handle of the ladle. So this is a 4 fluid ounce ladle, and this is a 2 fluid ounce ladle. You can basically get them in any size, half fluid ounce right up to, we've got one here as big as 24 fluid ounces, which is a little ridiculous, but they do make them that big. Another way of measuring fluid ounce measurements or volume measurements would be a set of measuring cups. So we've got a 1 cup measure, a 2 cup, which is the equivalent of 1 pint measuring cup. We've got a 1 quart measuring cup, and then we've got a 4 quart or 1 gallon, 4 liter measuring cup. So different sides of the measuring cup have both imperial and metric measure. The important thing to consider here when using these products for measuring out recipe ingredients is to ensure that you're going to the meniscus on a measuring line, and that if it's a very thin liquid like water, for example, you're looking at it from an eye level to the graduated line, and you've allowed it to settle from sloshing, and you're getting an accurate reading on the graduated part of the measuring cup. All right. Alex is now going to talk a little bit about portion control tools, best practices.
So I've seen some of the tools for your prep, and then also for putting onto your finished items that you can implement right away. Here's some more tools and best practices for portion control. So now we're going to go over some best practices on how to use those tools with what items in your kitchen. You have different levels of thickness with your fluids, you have different sauces and consistencies. So we're just going to walk through some of those tools that you're going to be using and how to apply them to those prepped items in your kitchen.
So as an example for portioning pizza cheese, we'd have our supply of shredded pizza cheese. Very close to that spot on the line, we would have a scale and the appropriate measuring device. We would make sure that we're in the proper unit on the scale. So we want to weigh out in ounces, and we're going to tear that measuring vessel off on the scale to have a 0 reading. And then say, for example, I wanted 4 ounces of pizza cheese. It's literally 2 hand motions to get 4.0 ounces to then portion onto a pizza that we're building. So an extra 10 seconds of work to ensure accuracy and consistency every single time we build that pizza. Using ladles and or scoops, general rule of thumb is thin sauces, water for example, right up to the consistency of heavy cream. Gravy for example, you would use a ladle. The only thing I would call out here is make sure that the ladles are level. When you start using a larger level that has a big surface area, something that's just a little bit slightly rounded on something like even an 8 fluid ounce ladle, you could over portion by as much as 25%. It takes nothing in terms of rounding a ladle on an 8 fluid ounce ladle to add an extra 2 fluid ounces into that measurement. So it's important that when we use ladles, it's for thinner sauces, say the consistency of cream and lighter down to water, and that we're portioning level with the top of the ladle each and every time. So that's a training point you would train with your line cooks. Scoops we're going to reserve for thicker things. So we have some yogurt here. And again, we want to make sure that the scoop is used properly. So we're scraping that level on the side of the insert and portioning a level number 30 scoop in this case. We've got a thicker tomato-based sauce here as well. A ladle probably would over portion or round this, whereas a thicker based product like this, we can scrape it level on the side of the portion cup or on the side of an insert in the cold table on the line. Butter, quite often used in pan fry recipes and things like that, same thing. Scraping it level, packing that bowl on the scoop and scraping it level in the scoop each and every time. Number of different ways that one can portion cheese. We can have a scale and a cup set up online to portion to order for nachos or for pizzas, that type of thing. We can pre-prep and weigh out portions of shredded cheese, or we can use a scoop. If we know that our spec calls for 3 ounces of nacho cheese on our nachos, find a scoop that where you test it 10 times on a scale, you're going to get about 3 ounces of cheese every time you use the scoop properly. So a packed level scoop of this size yields a tested 3 ounces of nacho cheese. So you're not adding labor by pre-portioning. You can portion as you go on the line so long as you use the consistent tool properly. And then finally, portioning on a scale. Number of different ways to do that, using different deli cups, different sizes. We can do pre-portions in prep, in cups, or in bags. Another example of portioning into portion bags, you would set up a portioning station. For example, if we're making nacho cheese portions for the line, some type of vessel to hold the bag makes it usually a speedier process. And let's say we're portioning 2 ounce nacho cheese blend, bag into a torn cup on the scale, portion to 2 ounces. And then as you go, rolling these portions onto a baking sheet that would then be used to stock the line with, and you have 2.0 ounces on every portion of nacho cheese going out on your menu.
Thanks, Darren. Just want to
Alright.
summarize that. It's very, very simple, easy things. When you watch those videos, you just go, you know, that's so simple, it's so easy, but we go into so many places all the time, and every cook has a different way of getting product A to product B to the finished plate. And if you don't have those standardized practices with those portion control items, you can be giving away money every day. Sometimes the conversation isn't around the best price for the product coming in the door. It's the control of the product once you have it in your house. So that's your best way of protecting your investment when you're purchasing all these ingredients, is by managing them as efficiently as you can, making sure that you're getting the most out of that product. Next one's on to Darren there, talking about units of measure.
Okay, so this will be our last video that we'll share today. And it's on, some things like culinary units of measure, some conversion tables. Again, we have these templates available. We've all seen culinary math and the confusion, especially in today's day and age with the labor force potential that we have out there. People don't necessarily convert from cups to fluid ounces to quarts to liters to milliliters, all these different units of measures that are out there. that, you know, people that have been in industry for a long time, they probably have a pretty good handle on that type of thing. But in our kitchens, when we speak in that language to especially new people in our kitchen, sometimes their eyes kind of glaze over and they don't really get that. So we've got some resources that you know, we can give out to our customers that you can use in your manuals in your kitchens, that you can use as training aids, or even include them in hiring packages that you hand out to people that you hire for your kitchens, where it shows the common conversion tables of volumetric measure and weights as well. So imperial pounds and ounces to metric grams, kilograms, and such. And then I know another one that I often run into is people don't understand, you know, the disher scoops, the squeeze handle, or the thumb trigger scoops that we showed in the video just previous to this. They're all sized by number. And one thing you'll probably have noticed over the years is that the higher the number, the smaller the actual scoop portion of those portioning tools are. And there is actually some rhyme and reason, some method to the madness, if you will, around scoop sizes. So that same template that we'll show here in this next video has a detailed list of scoop number sizes and their corresponding volumetric measurements. So people can order the right portioning tool for the right job without having to take a guess at it, not understanding the numbered scoop size system. And then we'll also show some examples of standardized recipes, both a standardized prep recipe and a standardized, you know, plated menu item spec or recipe as well. One thing that really shocked me when I came from my previous life of running restaurants, and I think Alex is in the same boat, and we see it all the time, 90+% of the customers we deal with that are independent operators, most of them don't have great examples of standardized recipe best practices in their kitchens. And that is literally the most fundamental basic starting point. If you want to get some new systems into your kitchen around cost of goods, or into your restaurant around cost of goods sold management, standardized recipes are a really great place to start. And we've got, again, examples coming up in the next video and templates we can share out as well. So we'll roll the video. About 90% of the customers that we deal with as independent street accounts, as business solution specialists and culinary specialists, don't have standardized recipes in their business. It's the first and most fundamental step in setting up great cost controls with respect to all of their cost of goods, not just food. So we've got a couple different tools here that are available through any of your divisional culinary and business solution specialists. We have a culinary weights and measures conversion table, talks about weights of products, volume measures of products, how they can be used interchangeably and the conversion factors that are there, sort of the genesis of where those weights and measures, both in metric and imperial, came from, and a handy little conversion table with respect to the numbered scoop size. With respect to standardized recipes, we have two different types. This is one example of a batch or a prep recipe, where we've actually taken some best practices and eliminated culinary math by the cook in the kitchen by actually giving them multiple recipe volumes, including yields, suggested number of prep times per week, and all the pertinent steps to making those different batch recipes in the prep kitchen. We also have a standardized plating spec, or a plated menu item recipe sheet that shows all the different ingredients that go into making a plated menu item, how much of each of those products should be in each plated menu item for consistency and execution, and then the steps on how to put that dish together. All right, so that's our last video. Now we're going to shift gears over to Alex and Kristen in the Winnipeg Gordon Food Service Distribution Center Culinary Center Kitchen. And they're going to do a little bit of a live feed, just best practices video on what you should be looking for from your supplier. And where they're going to illustrate that, you know, in a lot of instances, especially around produce, for example, you know, not all things are considered the same. Every case of romaine lettuce, for example, you might be buying a certain brand or a certain label of romaine at a very inexpensive price point, but that doesn't always translate out to the best cost per usable ounce or yielded cost for your food service operation. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to the team in Winnipeg, and they're going to walk you through that exercise.
Took all the words right out of our mouths, Darren.
Exactly,
Sorry,
we're
man.
done.
Sorry.
So we have a Packer label brand, and then we have our signature line, our premium line through Gordon here. We have a big scale. We're going to start with doing some things, but I'm going to let Kristen take over and walk us through some of this produce.
So exactly like Darren said, you know, the price on that full case might not say everything that needs to be said about, you know, which product you should bring in. So we're going to compare, like we said, the premium label, weight before you even take it out of the box, compared to a Packer label that we have as well. So we're going to start with our Packer label.
30 pounds.
30 pounds. So 30 pounds on the Packer label box.
33.5 pounds.
33.5 pounds. So what we're gonna do now is, we're actually gonna take about 6 heads of each lettuce out. We're going to remove some of the outer leaves, the waste leaves, and we're gonna compare what that looks like from a premium label box to a Packer label box. So generally speaking, on a premium label box, when it's coming off the, you know, out of the ground at the field level, the people picking the lettuce is actually, they're going to be looking for the top quality lettuce that's coming out of the ground right now. And they're going to pre-clean some of that lettuce just to make sure that, you know, the best quality product is going into each of those premium label boxes. You're not going to be left with, you know, damaged leaves and so on and so forth.
Can you guys see? Yeah. So if you're looking, this is the Packer label, you can see some of the darker green leaves that are going to get peeled off, compared to this one, which has much more ready to go, some blemishes and stuff in there, but we're going to peel back some leaves and see how much waste, how many waste leaves per 6 heads. Let's say we're not going to go through all 24 heads of romaine here, but we're each going to pull out 6 and we'll see what that waste looks like.
These are both marked lines.
Yeah, no, those are
Packer.
Packer. Look at that little guy.
So if you compare even just the size of the lettuce itself, right? So there's 24 heads in each of those boxes, but out of the Packer label box, you're getting a very small head of lettuce compared to this larger head of lettuce. So that definitely factors in. We're just going to take some of those outer leaves off that you wouldn't want to put into your salad. And then we'll compare what that looks like in the end. So we can kind of factor out, you know, what the price for actual portion cost at the end is going to factor into.
General size too.
Right.
And also you'll see like the consistency and sizing, like this has had one that's this big, one that's just this little stubby guy, and then, you know, a big mamma jamma there. So just the consistency that you get through a premium label versus a Packer label.
The other thing I want to point out as well is that you'll see a lot of this fringe burn. You probably can't see it there, but the edges of the leaves are a little bit brown, so you're going to have to cut off some of that product as well. Whereas with our premium label, it doesn't seem to be, doesn't seem to have that issue.
Oh, you tell me. It'll look pretty good. It's still going.
It's still going. So the other thing, you know, that he just brought up here, I'm still going while he's already finished.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to factor in some extra time there. So I've got my 6 there.
So I have 400 grams of lettuce. Don't have 400 grams. This one.
No, this is my 6.
Okay, now let's look at these guys.
So as you can see, our finished product, we've got a much bigger, more full head of lettuce on our premium versus our packer label. Yeah, those ones, the premium is consistently the same size throughout, which is fantastic.
You want to cut?
Yeah, the other thing I want to do is I'm going to cut into one of the lettuces for each one and just see what that core looks like, what the lettuce inside looks like. So I still actually have to do a little bit of trimming on this one here because as I can see inside, there's a little bit of blistering on the inside, whereas on our premium lettuce, it looks really beautiful inside. The core is quite tight to the bottom. This core is not bad as well. Sometimes you'll see that the core can actually reach quite a ways up into the head of lettuce as well. So still I would have to do some more cleaning on this one as I'm now cutting into the lettuce itself.
Right.
So like I said before, even though the price point might be a little bit higher on your premium label lettuce, you're going to get a nicer quality, more yield in the end with less waste coming off of that, and less time having to pick through the lettuce itself to see what's good and what's not.
Some. That's romaine cutting. So next what we're going to do is we're going to kind of implement some of the best practices that we saw today. I'm going to go ahead and make a Caesar salad using some of our best practices, and Darren's going to do it basically blindfolded or not using any of those tools.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick little demonstration of making a Caesar salad here, something, we do a version of probably in pretty much every restaurant. Kind of out there, or certainly are making salads in some capacity. And I'm gonna go full rogue, right? So this would be the new line cook, doesn't have any kitchen experience, kind of what they may do and what you probably commonly see when you're hiring, especially new people in the kitchen, as to what that could look like, right? So just to sort of put into practice what we talked about with some of the videos. Hopefully you guys can see the counter I'm working on here. Move it in a little tighter. So I've got some cut and washed romaine lettuce. That looks about right, for the entree Caesar salad I want to make. Some croutons. Obviously need dressing on a salad, so we're just going to get some of that in there. And from there, then I found this bowl I like. The chef's got this special collection of plateware that he keeps off to the side in the kitchen, and I like this bowl. I'm going to throw the salad in this bowl this time. Okay, and then I think I like Parmesan cheese on my salad, so I'm just going to put a little bit of Parm cheese on top, and there we go.
And Darren, can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Can you make that the same for me, please? Can you make one more?
Well, I can make a version of it. Whether it's going to be exactly the same, I probably don't think so, because I literally put no science into that. So the opportunity here, of course, I can't cost it for you because I have no idea what I just put into that salad.
So the exact reverse of what we're talking about. So I have a scale online. I'm going to throw 150 grams of our washed and trimmed romaine. I'm going to use 1 ounce ladle. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to stir up my Caesar dressing. I'm 17 times. That's what the recipe calls for. It's 17 mixes. And I'm gonna plate on here. And I have 1 tablespoon of bacon bits that I'm gonna put on the salad. I want to count by the each for my croutons. I'm gonna put 5 croutons on there. And then I'm going to use half a teaspoon of shredded parm. This salad is fully traceable for every cost and weight, and we know exactly how much money we're going to make on that.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Yeah. So the key takeaway there obviously is consistency in producing menu items the same way, exactly the same way, each and every customer visit. So, a customer comes there for Valentine's dinner with his wife or girlfriend a little over a week ago. That salad that they enjoyed that evening is going to be the same one they get when they take their family out in March break, next month. So you're getting consistency in the service experience, consistency in the products being served out of your business. And, as importantly, as operators, we know every time that salad that Alex just made costs the same every single time we make it. Whereas the one I made, we have no idea on the cost. It might be bigger sometimes, smaller another visit. And maybe it's not even supposed to be in that bowl. When you have a standardized plating recipe, you can add pictures to those recipes as well and show the chef's expectation of what plateware and orientation of food items on that plate should be being served to the customer each and every time. So that way we get consistency in execution. So that's kind of all we had today in terms of the webinar. I think Kim is looking to open it up to some Q&A if there are any. Alex and I and Kristen will stay on, for whatever length of time we need. I think we got about 12 minutes left in the time we've got here today. So I'll hand it over to Kim and MRFA for any questions.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Does anybody have any questions? If you have any, you can kind of just unmute and start talking.
One thing I'll just quickly draw attention to, I don't know if everyone saw it, but there was some communication in the call chat. Sean, I believe, had asked about getting some of the templates and some of the resources from us, and you'll see the chat thread in there. But on that note, I added into the chat my contact information, Alex's, Kristen's contact information. And if you're if you're a Gordon Food Service customer already, we can get this information out to you right away. And if you're looking to start the relationship with Gordon Food Service, email any one of us and we can get you in touch with the right people to get an account set up with Gordon Food Service. And, as a customer, there's access to the consultative resources that are a part of the Prairie's marketing team that Kristen, Alex, and I are all a part of.
That chat might have just been between you and Sean, because I don't see it here.
Okay, sorry. Kim, are you able to send summarized contact information out to the people who were on the call?
Yeah.
Okay, so after this call, I'll send you our contact information, Alex, myself, and Kristen, and just a little bit of a blurb that you can send out to the people that were on the call.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that'd be great. Awesome. Well, if nobody has any questions, then I guess we can end. I want to thank you guys so much. That was great. I really liked the comparison between the lettuce and the live demo or whatever. Like, I think that it's like to see that, because I would just be like, use your hands, it's fine. But to put it into perspective, like the difference between using the tools and using your hands. But yeah, so thank you guys so much, and yeah, have a great day.
Right on. Thanks everyone.
Have a good day.
See ya.